Welcome everybody to another edition, another episode of Two Guys and a Mic. This is our post-game show. I am one of your hosts, RP.
And I'm your other host, Big Sean. RP, what's going on, my man?
Hey, I can't complain, man. It's been a long week, a long, exhausting week, an emotional week, especially for the football team. And today we got a little bit of relief, a little bit of retribution. The team looked good today, so I think overall I've had a pretty solid day. Prepping for the week and trying to watch the game. That always goes a little smoother when the Browns don't stink the place up.
Right. Yeah, I feel you, man. It's always better when we win instead of losing, especially with all the circumstances and all the drama and everything that went on this week. So it was definitely good to get a victory because honestly, I didn't know how we were gonna win this game.
Listen, I didn't either. That was another thing. Like, I think that was a part of my stress too. I wasn't 100% sure not just how the guys were gonna show up, but I wasn't 100% sure what we had in the bag that could, put the points up that I felt like we would need. And as it turns out, we didn't need that many points, and B, we figured a way to get as many points as we needed up on the board. So today was a different type of game. It was a totally different type of game. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into it a little bit? It was a different type of game. We haven't seen our team get a lot of or have a lot of turnovers. We got a lot of turnovers. We haven't scored on a turnover all year. We did that today. We haven't seen an offense move for 4 quarters with a level of efficiency that we saw today. So legitimately, we saw a totally different game today than we've seen all season long. Would you agree with that?
I agree. And just for everybody out there, the final score was 41-16. And it was a weird game in the sense that the offense, didn't possess the ball that much.
Right.
This game was pretty much won on big plays. So Cincinnati got the ball first, and on their first drive, they drove all the way down in the red zone, and then Denzel Ward gets a pick six from the goal line. And then from there, that pretty much just set everything in motion from there. And one of my keys to the game was I was like, the defense needs to make some turnovers, cause some turnovers. We really hadn't done so. Well, we hadn't really caused any meaningful turnovers all year. And we did that today. We had several.
We haven't had meaningful ones or just turnovers in general. Like this season anyway, we just hadn't been. I think, what did we have? 3 picks before today? Maybe 4 or 5 turnovers, period, something like that.
Right.
And we're in week 9. Come on, man.
Right. So it was pretty much a game of big plays, and the Browns, they just did what they had to do, man. That I didn't, me and RP said during our midweek show, we didn't know how they were going to win this game, but we did say, either the Browns are going to win or they're going to get blown out. It wasn't going to be any in between at all.
Yeah, we
with this game, so.
We hit that one. We hit that one right on the head. I texted you that too. Like, dog, we called it, man. Like, it's just the way the week went. It's just the way it felt. Either they're gonna go down there and get it handed to them, or we were gonna go down there and beat the brakes off these cats. Because I think it's a lot of pent up emotions in the locker room. So you didn't know which way it was gonna push guys or which way it was gonna make guys. So, I figured it would be one way or the other. Also, just to point this out, because I'm sure anybody who regularly watches the show or regularly listens, they may not be able to see our backgrounds. The background that I have right now is the last time we went to Cincinnati and beat the brakes off Cincinnati.
Oh, I'm shocked you still got that picture, man.
From the time when Sean and I went down there and got banned from the building. And actually from all parts of northern Kentucky. So I had to go digging for it because I said, yeah, this is very similar because I knew a lot of people that went to the game. It was very similar feeling wise to that game. Like we went down there, big divisional game, first time in a while that our two teams were kind of on the same level. And, it was a big divisional game. So it's very, very, very similar feel to this game. So I thought it was apropos to pull that out.
And what's ironic is it seems like anytime the Browns are struggling or whatnot, we get Cincinnati on the schedule and it kind of fixes things. We'll go get a win and it kind of sets us on the right path from there for whatever reason. Because Cincinnati plays us tough. And they were really playing us. They were playing us tough today. They were able to move the football.
Early they were, yeah.
Yeah, but pretty consistently. Cincinnati's downfall today was one turnovers, and they had a lot of drop passes. I mean, a lot. They had plays where like Jamar Chase was open on several like deep routes, and he dropped several passes. Now, some of the DBs made great plays as well. Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward made some plays on the ball, to break some things up. But Cincinnati dropped a lot of passes, left a lot of points on the boards on the field today. But Cincinnati is tough, man. Like going forward, you definitely will. That's a team that's going to be reckoned with because they got too much talent.
I don't foresee
not to be
41-16 in the next meeting. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're gonna probably be up to the task, will be my guess, especially if they're not, injured or whatever. I think they'll be up to the task. And I actually think they were up to it today. I think the Browns kind of surprised them. I think when I used to play basketball, my coach used to always tell us, like, when somebody gets hot, dude hit 2-3 shots on you, you go and you touch him up a little bit. You don't try to injure him. You just let him know you're there. Try to disrupt his rhythm, his flow. So you might want to foul him. You might want to, you foul him 2 or 3 times. You got 5 fouls to give. So give him 1 or 2 good, whacks across the arm or run at him and like turn into him and bump him to make him understand, like, hey, when I get ready to go up for this next shot, now you jumping at him and he's flinching a little bit. And I think that's what the Browns did to Jamar Chase. I think they got into him early because those last maybe 2 or 3 passes, like you were saying, those last 2 or 3 where he dropped, that was mostly on him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that the coverage wasn't good. The ball was put in a spot where he could have caught it and held on to it. But I think they had gotten into him so much in his head, he was flinching before the ball got there, and he couldn't, his concentration was kind of gone. We literally got into this dude's head, and it's crazy because we did that mostly one-on-one. Greg Newsome played awesome today. 2 turnovers were caused basically by Denzel by himself. He played great today because he had that deflection that John Johnson got the pick off of.
Right.
So the defensive backfield played great. They basically set that game up for us to win. That pick 6 that Denzel had early in the game set in motion. It took the edge off. Baker really didn't have to go out there and do nothing. It took that edge off of the offense, off of Baker, even off of Stefanski, by giving us the cushion. Now you can kind of go out there and just, play from ahead for one of the few times all season.
And I also thought we did a good job hitting Joe Burrow too. I didn't think he was going to make it out that game, man. The front 7 was putting hands on him pretty much all game. And, had a couple of bogus, one really bogus roughing the passer that they waited 15 minutes after the play to call.
Like when they start doing that, like where you gonna call a penalty from 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if that's the case, they need, when they're gonna start doing that for drop passes or for fumbles or for freaking pass interferences, like, hey, on that last play, that was a pass interference. So we're gonna throw the
Yeah,
flag
that,
now.
that was weird. I never seen anything like that before. Another play that was weird is when Donovan Peoples-Jones made a catch on the sidelines and got popped. He didn't look to be any worse for wear, but they stopped the game and went and took him off the game. Now, normally, only time I've seen that if a player was wobbly, or kind of like he was off kilter, but he looked like he was fine, and they went in and took him off the field. And I thought that was kind of, strange too at that moment, because really,
I haven't seen them do that in a long time. Remember when they first came out with the concussion protocol stuff?
right?
It's been about that long since I've seen them like just look at a guy and say, "No, you need to go have a seat or at least get,
Yeah.
So it's
And maybe he had a glazed look in his eye. We couldn't tell
maybe.
from TV. Maybe that was it. But but both those plays were kind of strange and how to handle that, man. But overall, man, this gives us a little bit of breathing room. I'm proud of them for coming out and playing the way that they did. I'm not overly excited because we still got work to do. I hope they don't rest on their laurels, which they tend to do sometimes. So we got another tough game coming up in Foxborough next week. So you got to keep that intensity up.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, man, like to come deal with all of that and you come in laser focused and get that win over a division rival. And it's a conference game. It's huge.
Yeah, right
it's
now.
Huge. And
right
the whole
now,
city was
I'm
that?
sorry,
No, I'm saying the whole city can kind of breathe a sigh of relief, at least for 7 days.
Couple days. Yeah, I mean, the Bengals are the only team we have a tiebreaker over right now. So, we needed to have something because we don't have it with anybody else in the AFC. Everybody's, basically beating us within the conference that are kind of close record-wise. Excuse me. So it was nice to get that win conference-wise, and it's always great to get that win in the division. So
right.
Again, it's a lot more work in front of us. You can't rest. I mean, we actually got a tough stretch here in the next. Actually, all our games, we don't really have a break. It's not really like a point where we can say, all right, we get except for Detroit.
And even then, you can't take that lightly.
Yeah, that'd be
especially if you look at today. You had Cowboys get upset by Denver. You had Buffalo got beat by Jacksonville, which helps us a little bit. You had so that lets you know you can't take anybody lightly. You take them for granted. Like since he losing to the Jets last week. Hell, Vegas lost to the Giants today.
Yeah.
That helps us out too.
And we see the Raiders. We see the Bengals again later on. We got the Ravens almost lost today, but they didn't. But I
was hoping Minnesota would have, but I knew Minnesota was going to find a way to blow that game.
It was on the road too. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's. At first I thought they were at home because I turned to that game after the Browns game went off because they were in overtime. And when I saw that, that the Ravens were at home, I was even surprised that the Ravens were down by what were they down 21 or 11? They were down by 11.
Yeah, I don't think they ever got down by 21. I think maybe like 14 or something like that at one point.
So yeah, it was just anything can happen. So you can't overlook. Saying all that to say, you just can't overlook anybody. But that's the one game that you would figure out of the next 8 that we have. That you could probably say to yourself, oh, yeah, they should win that game. I can't say that we should beat. I think we will beat New England, but I can't say that we should beat them. And I wouldn't be surprised if, they pulled that win out because they've actually been playing pretty good.
Yeah, I think they've won something like 3 in a row.
Yeah, Mike Jones is playing well.
Now, and they're fighting for the division now.
Yeah.
Now that Buffalo's come back to the pack a little bit. So they got something definitely to play for.
Yeah, that defense is good too.
And I was looking at some stats, and we haven't won in New England in the Belichick era at all.
Oh, really?
As a matter of fact, we've only beaten them twice.
Wow.
in the Belichick era.
Wow. I
So
didn't know that.
it's a place that Gillette Stadium is not a place where it's just been exactly friendly to the Cleveland Browns. So that's another monkey we need to get off our back.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that.
Next week.
We're gonna have to fix that because I mean, seriously, I know sometimes it's hyperbole. Seriously, we don't have room to lose games. We really don't have room to lose games. So
no,
I just want to touch on a few things real quick. So
sure.
Baker had a tough game, a tough week rather, coming into this game. It's a lot popping. We all know what all the drama was. We don't have to dive into that too much. But it was good to see him come out looking comfortable. It was good to see him come out looking confident. And again, I know that the defense helped him, with some of that. And I think the game plan was pretty good. Stefanski remembered that this was a running football team and that the run sets up everything else. And it looked like we were a running football team, and the run set up everything. The pass to Peoples-Jones was a play action pass.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to respond to it because Nick was lighting they behinds up with those runs, and he was breaking tackles and knocking people over. I mean, at one point he was averaging like 11 yards to carry. So, you know what I mean? Like it to me, and I've been saying it for 2 years almost. That's the type of football game that we need to play all the time.
Right.
We all need to play that way. Because that's the way you set everything else up. That's how you set everything up.
And on top of that, in the second half, when you had to burn some clock, they did that, with the run game.
Right.
And now what I do like too is, they didn't get too conservative.
Right.
The Browns have a tendency at times to get too conservative, let the other team back in the game. And they took a couple of chances on some tough throws. And, Baker hit, Donovan Peoples-Jones on one and hit Njoku for a late touchdown. Well, we could have just ran the ball some more, man. And that, I was like, okay. So now what I want to see, I know you have some more points to make, but just stay consistent. Like we from week to week. Like 1 week, we do the little things, the intangibles, and pull out a victory like this. And then the next week, we'll forget all of that. And then just start, and have a whole different type of game plan, that goes against what the Browns are built for. So,
I mean, you've seen us do it. Like you said, I mean, our record says it before today. We're 4-4. To me, that's a middle of the road team that's kind of inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Every game has been a different kind of game, and Stefanski, especially when the games get close, Stefanski has this weird way of doing goofy stuff that puts the other team in position to. I tell you what, there was a point in the game where I was like, man, let me tell you something. Don't you start this crap.
Yeah, me too.
That pitch that Jarvis did to Chubb,
right.
I said, listen, man, if this dude don't hand the ball off to Nick Chubb from the quarterback, you at the 3. I mean, we were at the 5. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I knew Jarvis was gonna fuck that up too. As soon as he got the handoff, I was like, man, this fool gonna try to pitch it to Nick Chubb. I could see what Nick Chubb was. Yeah, like, that fool gonna pitch and it's gonna be a disaster.
And it almost was running that play. Like that be the stuff that drives me nuts. Why are you running that play? Just hand the ball off.
Yeah, they got way too cute. And then also when McLaughlin missed that field goal, I said, oh, here we go. Like that fool with the field goal all year.
Look, here
we go.
He hit a 60-yard field goal every week, and now you missed a 32-yarder. Come on, bro. Don't do this to me right now.
Especially when the fans finally decided that he was going to kick the ball. I don't think we went for it on 1 4th down today.
I don't believe that we did. But I also don't think that we needed to. And that's, again, I think the way that the defense played today, especially the way that they started the game off, it really helped settle everybody's nerves. It helped settle everybody's emotions, and it let us, figure out what to do on the field. It kept everything focused on the field and not all of the off the field shenanigans and whatnot. I also got to point out Joe Woods. I'm still not a huge fan of his defense. However, today he did call a lot more blitzes than I'm used to seeing him call. But also, one of my keys to the game from the other day was they give up about 2.5 sacks per game, and they give up about 4 quarterback hits per game. So that could be our opportunity to cause some ruckus, and that's exactly what happened. So, I was expecting for Joe Woods to do that play off and get into the zones, but he let his dogs, his actual man coverage guys be man coverage guys. He let Denzel go one-on-one with Jamar Chase. He let Greg Newsome go one-on-one with Jamar Chase. Had a really big game.
T. Higgins.
Not T. Yeah, T did have a big game, but the dude we got from. Why am I drawing a blank? 23.
I'm on Troy Hill.
Yeah, Troy. Troy had a huge game today. He was the gunner on the blitzes a lot of times. He probably got back there about 4 or 5 times. Like, I don't know how many
3 sacks.
It's gonna be
He
him.
had three registered sacks today.
So it was a pretty solid scheme, especially once we knew that they were going to be passing. We did decent against Joe Mixon. You also had, they moved the ball up and down the field the first 2 drives or so, but then it was nothing after that. So, I had to give some, as much critiquing as I do and as much criticism as I give. I want to point out when these guys, figure it out and when they get it right too.
Right. So once again, a dominating performance. Did you have any other points you wanted to make about this game?
I do, actually. Because I you know me, I'm always looking at stuff and trying to figure stuff out. So I have a question. Were you surprised at how fluidly we moved the ball without OBJ on the field?
No, I wasn't surprised at all, especially from the stuff that I was reading towards the end of the week. It still doesn't make sense, but I can understand what they were talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
What, him not running the right routes?
No, well, that's part of it, but about the mental block that they were saying that Baker had with him.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because they were saying that, and I kind of get it. They were saying Baker was trying to impress OBJ so bad and wanting to get him the ball that it was causing him to have some type of like mental block. Now, on the surface, that sounds ridiculous. But being, I haven't played like competitive, like contact sports or anything like that outside of like street ball, but I have been in competitions. I was a avid bowler for years and been in intense competitions.
Mm-hmm.
And if it all depends on your mental makeup. If you're an overthinker like I am, that can be an issue. So it's been times where I'm going up against somebody, right? Like people be talking trash and blah, 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 blah. And there's times where I get so juiced up to go against, this particular team because they be talking trash, or I want to show them that I'm on their level too, that I would start overthinking and I would choke at times. I would just flat out choke.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I learned to be like, the hell with them. And no, I ain't bowling against them. I'm bowling against these pins. When I
Right.
kind of loosened up, that's kind of when I took my game like to the next level. And I ain't care about them or trying to impress them. I'm like, I know what I can do and whatever. And that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. The whole thing about him not throwing the ball at Odell on purpose, that's a bunch of BS. That doesn't make any sense. So for whatever reason, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just seemed like he just had a mental block with this guy on the field. And some of it could be with him freelancing routes, especially when now, we know more about Stefanski's offense and how he wants it to work. If one cog in that offense in doing what they're supposed to do and is throwing you off because he's in a different spot than where he's supposed to be, then maybe that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I was trying not to go there. I knew you was going to bring it up because I was trying not to go there. Only because it's all speculation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. And like I said, on the surface, it don't make sense for them not to be able to, but it's just been, the proof is kind of in the pudding now. Like when OBJ is not in there, the offense flowed better, even the first 2 games of the season. KC, we put up, 29, 30, the offense was flowing pretty much. And then against Houston, it was moving until, he got hurt. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to refute, to be honest with you, because, you got enough. I think you have enough of a sample size to say one way or the other way. So they definitely look better. Now, do they look better because of who they're playing at times? Do they look better because of how the game went at times? Do they look better because the game plan was a little better or the execution was a little better? You could probably say yeah to most of those, but I don't know that it's a definitive yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it could be any of that stuff. It could be OBJ. It could be Baker. I do think it's something to what you were saying. I do think that, Baker, I wouldn't say he's trying to impress, but I understand why that could be a case. OBJ is the swag guy. He's the flashy swag, dude in the locker room. He's the guy with the cachet. Ain't nobody else in that damn locker room been to the Met, getting invitations to the Met.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So this dude is not, honestly, and again, the dude ain't on my team, and I don't wish him no ill at all. And I really didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about him. But as I was watching the game, this stuff was in my head. So I was like, I want to bring it up. Because truly, at this point, he ain't on the squad. So I don't really care what or where or how he looks or whatever, because he ain't doing it for us. But him being that type of a guy, I could see Baker, kind of wanting to live up to whatever that expectation was. I mean, this dude basically made an old broken down Eli Manning, relevant for about 3 more years of his career, when he was in New York. And then he probably thought coming here with somebody a little younger, I'll be able to put up even bigger numbers, yada, yada, yada. It didn't necessarily happen that way. And I'm sure Baker wanted to be that guy that helped him get to that. And I'm sure that's even been spoken about between the two of them. So I feel like that could be some parts of it. But what I saw, or what I started thinking today was, and tell me if you think this is nuts. I think Baker was not throwing to him. But let me tell you why I think Baker wasn't throwing to him. Because that sounds to say that. And I told you earlier in the week, I didn't think that he was doing that purposefully. I didn't think that he was, going out there like, man, I ain't throwing it to this dude. F him.
Right.
But today, I was like, no, Baker wasn't throwing to him. He wasn't, because Baker was punishing him. If you're going to run the wrong damn routes, I'm not throwing you the ball.
It's a
If I look
possibility.
up, I set height, bam. That's not where you're supposed to be. I'm not getting in the ball. I'm not doing it, because I'm not going to reward him for doing the wrong thing, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. And I was watching the game today, and I just started saying, you know what? That son of a bitch was not throwing him the ball, because he wanted him to do what was right by the team, and probably what AVP and Kevin Stefanski wanted. But I also understand that OBJ's style is not necessarily a time style. He doesn't have a time style. He's
Right.
like Antonio Bryant. He's like Randy Moss. Randy Moss wasn't no precision route runner. You just throw the ball to him. You know what I mean?
Now, do you think that because of that, it was just throwing him off his time and his rhythm a little bit?
I think it could have been.
If you look at OBJ, like, damn, this fool in the
right.
wrong spot again, and
And
now messing up my progressions.
exactly. And I think it all played together. Again, I'm not gonna say that on every single play. I'm sure there were
Right.
times when OBJ was where he was supposed to be. I'm sure there were times when Baker literally just didn't see him. Like maybe he wasn't the first read, maybe he wasn't the second read, but I still have that same position of, if I see a dude in my uniform that's open, I'm throwing him the ball. I ain't nobody behind him. I'm just gonna launch that thing and let him score, because that makes it easier for the squad. Now, that said, what we saw today is probably what could have happened. We can't be the only people that think or felt or believe that it just wasn't a good fit. If I'm not mistaken, we've been saying this all season long. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
You and I have been saying, OBJ, it just don't look like it works. And if you don't want him, get rid of him. This is why I was saying whatever about the front office. If your team could have looked like this all damn season, what was y'all waiting for? What were you waiting for? Have a conversation with this guy. Like, listen, man, ain't nobody gonna pick up that big ass contract in no trade. We in the middle of the season. Teams don't have the cap space for you. So let's start to work out some stuff to get you in a spot where you can go and be somewhere you want to be. Or let's work on getting you out the door before these retarded antics get all out in the public. And everybody can walk away looking good. And we ain't 4-4. maybe we 5-3 or so. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I meant when I said I felt like they could have moved quicker and tried to resolve some of this. I knew they knew that they were behind the 8 ball because of his contract. They were kind of handcuffed by that contract. That was the biggest holdup in all of it. That dude is owed too much money to just get traded to another team.
Right.
And they're not going to give us the value for him, because everybody kind of knows you got to deal with OBJ. You got to deal with him. And who's to say how long he's going to be here too? So
yeah,
it was a little bit of all of those things, but that's stuff that when I was watching the game, I was like, Baker is like throwing the ball. And I still have never seen nothing like that before in my life, where one dude is on the field and now you can't throw a damn football. And this one dude is off the field and now you can reach all levels.
Yeah, he was throwing passes that I haven't seen him throw in a while, where he was fitting stuff in. Because the thing that I was disagreeing with people, they were like, yeah, because his left shoulder is hurt. It's hurting his velocity and stuff. I'm like, no, the ball is coming out.
Velocity wasn't a problem.
like he wasn't accurate. But the ball is coming out, pretty well. Like that pass to Peoples Jones on the sideline, man. Like he put that right in the bread basket. That was a dime.
He did. Dropped it right
You
in
know,
between. And we've seen, I think that was the play that made me realize he wasn't throwing dude the ball. That was the play. Because I've seen OBJ open just like that. Just like that. And he did not throw that pass. And I think it may have been because maybe it was supposed to be a post or something, and he wasn't sure where he was going to end up at. So he just, instead of throwing it and him looking like, I'm missing you, I just won't even throw it.
and now, did you think OBJ may have been doing this a little bit on purpose too, to kind of
There's
force the
parts of
Browns
it.
in?
Yeah, I think there's parts of it. If I can say that this dude did this on purpose for whatever the reasons were, I think Baker did some of this on purpose. Again, not maliciously on purpose. I think he was being like the hall monitor. Like, damn it, I'm going to have to give you a hall pass. You don't have a hall pass. I got to give you, write you up, a demerit or
Right.
whatever. I think that's what he was doing to OBJ. I'm going to give you this demerit. And I think OBJ was like, who the hell are you to give me a demerit? So, all right, bet. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to run the route. So I'm going to run the right route this time. I'm going to run the right route next time. But I ain't going to run the route on this fourth time. Like, you don't know when I'm going to run the specific route or when I'm going to do my, and I don't know how many, again, because I don't know the specifics of the offense, I don't know how many option routes he has. I know that some offenses have a lot of option routes for their wide receivers. I don't know how that works with Kevin Stefanski. I would believe that they don't have a lot of option routes because it seems like Kevin Stefanski just wants people, not necessarily superstars. He wants anybody to be able to do what they do. And I don't think that that doesn't require you to be able to see stuff and move and motivate. So I don't think they got a lot of option routes. That's just me. I could be totally wrong. But I know that they had a lot of option routes in New York when he was playing here. They had a lot of 2 and 3 wide receiver sets in New York. Playing here, we'll go 3 tight ends, in a heartbeat. We'll go 1 wide receiver on the field in a heartbeat. So, it just wasn't a good fit. That's fine. That's one of the reasons I ain't mad at him, at OBJ. It wasn't a good fit. It's like I wear a 10.5. It's like giving me a 9.5 shoe. It's not a good fit. I'm going to have to kick these bitches off.
Right.
Because it's just not a good fit. But seeing that today, seeing that pass he threw to Donovan Peoples-Jones on the sideline, and I've seen OBJ open like that and him not even, I've seen him maybe pump fake that way once or twice, but I've never seen him just try to fit that thing in there like that. But I guess if you don't have the trust that this dude's going to be where you want him to be, can't necessarily fault, Baker.
Right.
If that's what is going through his mind, and if he has to think, like you said, if you got to think, a lot of sports is truly, it's mental, and you don't need to think. Like, you don't need to think. You just need emotions. When you bowl, when you get guys on the free throw line in a game, you can't be thinking about,
Right.
I need to hit this free throw. You just need to go to the free throw line and shoot that free throw.
Absolutely right.
You can't get stuck in your head, because getting stuck in your head how you hemmed up. So I mean, it was good to see. And you mentioned that I heard the same type of stuff that people were saying, oh, he was running the wrong routes, and it made me question whether they were just saying that because he said Baker wasn't throwing the ball, in the videos or whatever.
Right.
And it made me. I really want everybody to shut the hell up. Stop leaking stuff. It's over.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
what I mean?
But you know what though? Some of the some of the national guys even said that he freelances routes. I
He
guess
does.
it's just known around the league that that's just what he.
No, he does. I know that. I knew that, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying for the local for the team people, whoever this anonymous person is,
Right.
shut the hell up. Like, who cares? That dude ain't on the team. And I feel like they're saying it now, like as a, oh no, it's not all on Baker. Let Baker go play. Because if Baker keeps playing like this, number one, we'll be able to see and tell the difference. And number two, who cares? He ain't on the team.
Right.
Stop talking about him. Let it
Yeah,
go.
like after today, I'm done with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't,
Yeah.
I won't say I'm completely done because I'm interested to see where he ends up.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying? So,
we're done in terms of talking about how he affects
yeah,
the Cleveland Browns. Like that's over with. And I wasn't gonna bring it up until I saw that, and it made me start thinking about the other things, the other parts of this
right.
whole thing. You know, what the team did do or what the team didn't do, and by the team, I mean the front office.
Well, don't listen to sports talk radio tomorrow because that's what it's all
no, it's
about.
all gonna listen. It was all over Facebook too. There was a lot of people that after the game, you know, all the memes and all of the questions. My friend was like, I wonder if OBJ is watching this game. Probably not. And I don't have time to worry about him. That was my response. Why am I worried about what OBJ doing right now? I'm not. I'm watching the Browns game. The Browns game is on right now. Why do I care?
Like everybody's like FOBJ, and I was like, he wasn't being a cancer in the locker room or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just one of those things where certain guys, certain people in general, just bring a certain energy with them. Not that it's bad, but it's just an aura that some people have.
It's gonna feel bad no matter what because of how they run.
Right. Like some of those bigger than life personalities.
Yeah.
Just do that. Like, Cam Newton kind of
that's perfect.
alliterated to that with him. Yeah.
And
he's right. He is a guy that when he's in the room, he's in the room. You know what I'm saying? You can't help it.
Mike Vick was another one. Mike Vick was one of those guys, like everywhere he goes, no matter what he does, hey, that's the guy who killed those dogs. Like that's like and he's a bigger than life guy. That dude can't go nowhere in Atlanta without people knowing. He can't go nowhere in Philly. They love him in Philly.
Right.
He's a bigger than life guy. Michael Jordan, a bigger than life guy who a lot of people hate. I think it comes with the territory, and that's why I can't disagree with you on that whole, potential that Baker wants to or thought to impress this guy. Because I mean, imagine that you impressing a guy that is because Baker wants to be popular. Baker's, he's the quarterback. What quarterback really don't want to be popular like that? It's a rare guy that don't want to be popular. He's in the wrong damn market, but he's doing a really good job of being a polarizing figure.
And especially with all the talk that surrounds him, like Baker Mayfield may be, besides Odell, right now, like one of the most polarizing figures in sports. People talk about him all the time, and it's like
good and bad. Good and bad. Yeah. They go in, like you were saying, the people was hating on him or going in real hard on him. Like your pops, your uncles, them cats, they can't stand him.
A lot of it, I think, has to do with one. A lot of people in Ohio ain't forgave him for planting that flag. Now, to me, you're supposed to do stuff like that. If you come into the shoe and you win, and you beat us on our home field, all right, you get to talk crap. That didn't offend me.
Yeah, you won.
Only because my thing is, like, y'all got offended by that. But if it was the opposite and we was in Oklahoma and
we
the one that had whoever the quarterback was at that time did it in Oklahoma, everybody would have been like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
always that way. You know, it's always that way.
right, his personality, he can be, because like people have a hard time dealing with. Baker Mayfield is one of those guys that can't lie. He's blunt with no filter. I got
Right.
people like that in my family. Those people tend to rub people the wrong way. Like they don't mean anything by it. Just to them, they just being like, y'all want honesty. I'm just being honest. And people was like, well, why he say it like, you know? So now he's that polarizing guy. People like, well, he's arrogant. He's this, he's that. And people just don't like him, you know, for whatever reason. So, you know, people just gonna tend to, no matter what he does, whatever. So a lot of the Baker haters today were kind of quiet, but they're waiting for him to have a bad game. As soon as he has, you know, a bad game, they're gonna be right back out.
Look, they not gonna be, man. They can't wait. Just like, and we've been saying this. It's the exact same with the OBJ haters.
Yeah.
They couldn't
Right.
wait. They couldn't wait to see how great the Browns were going to look today.
Right.
They were praying, like you had guys on your timeline praying that the Browns got throttled today.
Right.
You got people that were praying, please let Baker play good so I could talk shit about OBJ. You know what I mean? Like, again, the dude ain't on the team. Why are we talking? Why are we?
And I
why
get
are
it.
we
That's all part of human nature, wanting to be right. But I'm beyond that. I used to want to be right all the time. I'm beyond that. Like, especially when it comes to my football team. If I'm wrong about something and it benefits us because I'm wrong, fine.
Perfect.
You know, I can eat crow. You know, It is what it is. But I want Baker to do well because that's my quarterback right now.
Right. And I mean, listen, again, that's exactly where I'm at. I don't have to like Baker. I don't have to love Baker. And this is the thing that I be trying to tell people.
Right.
You know, I'm critical of Baker, not hypercritical of Baker. I'm just critical of him. Just like I'm critical of every part of this damn team. I have been my whole life. Because I see a bigger picture and I want us to do well. So it's like how your mom nitpicks. My mom nitpicks because they see a bigger picture. They want to put you in a better position. They want to put you in a better spot. That's how I am with the Browns. When I see stuff like this, my thought is you'll never get to the playoffs like this. Or when you get to the playoffs, you'll never win that game because you don't do this. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm not saying I'm right about all of that stuff, but that's my thought process. And that's why the nitpicking and the criticisms are there. But again, if I've rooted for Tim Couch, Derek Anderson, Brandon Whedon, why wouldn't I root for Baker too? I root for them.
There's not one quarterback that we've had that I rooted against at all, or I wanted to just to get them out of town at first, you know, until I realized that this guy just can't play.
Yeah, when I realized they couldn't play, like I didn't want Johnny Manziel, but I didn't want Baker Mayfield either.
Yeah,
you know. But what you gonna do when they put number 2 out there? All right, man. Listen, prove me wrong.
exactly.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, like I had people hitting me up like, yeah, see, you wanted to sit Baker down. I didn't want to sit Baker down. I said he shouldn't have played last week. I never said I wanted Baker to sit down. I never said that. I said I didn't want him playing last week because he just came off that injury. I wanted him to be.
And you a good one. You a good one for being in those forums debating. I don't have the energy.
I go in on these cats.
I know. I don't have the energy to go back and forth like that with people. I don't. That's why you don't even see me posting on Facebook.
No,
that much about stuff.
It took me a while to get to that point where I could have those types of conversations, which is why I can say to people when they're like, yeah, you said you want. No, I didn't. That's not what I said. What I said was, I would rather Baker be healthy for the more important Cincinnati Bengals game.
Right, what you did say that.
Than a winnable Pittsburgh Steelers game with Case Keenum and Baker gets a week of rest. That's what I said.
Right. And that's the thing, when people try to change my words of a word, that pisses me off to no end. I can't stand that shit. That's not what I said. And then people, they'll keep going like, yes, you did. You did say that.
But that's why what I've learned is that people they'll try to change the words, and then B, they'll try to change the they'll say something and get you kind of off schedule.
Yeah.
And now they got you saying something that you didn't really want to say, or implying something that you didn't really want to imply. So now they kind of got you in a spot where you're responding a certain kind of way. And I noticed that about a lot of conservative folks. They do that a lot too. I'm like, listen, I'm not having that conversation with you. That's not what I'm talking about. We're going to stay on what I said we were talking about. That has nothing to do with this. And then I get called a know-it-all, and then I get called an ass, and I get called because I'm not going to go beyond what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Now, if you know something more, tell me what you know.
Right.
And then I can enlighten me. But you're not going to get me to say something outside of what I know. I know what I know. And I'm really good at what I know. If I don't know it, I'm not going to try to talk about it like I do.
I had somebody troll me today when I put a good team win. And then, dude commented, yeah, too bad. He said it's a good win. Too bad he can't do that with superior talent. I was like, yeah, you trolling. It's like, I'm not about to go there.
I'm not about to do this with you.
Yeah, like, I just hit the like button on this comment and left it alone. So I'm not
you got a guy saying, oh, well, y'all only beat Cincinnati. Don't act like that's no world beater. Cut it out, man. Bro, they was just in first place 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's early in the season, and we were in first place for a minute too. But stop acting like at every turn it has to be the perfect situation in order for you to give somebody credit. Because had we lost, you'd be talking about how poorly these guys played. So they won a game. They won a game after a tough week. They won a game after a tough week when it's been a lot said about the quarterback, a lot implied about the coach, a lot implied about the front office. A lot of people from LA to New York are talking about the Cleveland Browns and not necessarily in the best of lights.
Right.
And it's blame going all over the place. So for this team to come in into a tough environment, into a tough game, and beat the brakes off these guys by 35 points, or 25 points, is impressive.
Right. And national media can't wait for the Browns to start doing, they can't wait.
They can't wait to pounce. So, this is one of the reasons why when we did our midweek show that I wanted to ensure that I let it be known. Yeah, I like OBJ. I'm a fan of OBJ. I'm not a fanboy, but I'm a fan of his play. I think he's a dynamic cat. However, I've been doing this. Oh, wait, wrong side. I've been doing this. It's different in the camera. It's different. I've been doing this my whole life with a lot of different people in these colors, with a lot of different, good, bad, and indifferent. I'm going to continue to do this no matter what happens, no matter what, no matter who.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's Baker, whether it's Stefanski, whether it's Hugh Jackson, whether it's Brandon Whedon, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to keep doing this. So that's the way it's always going to be. I'm always rooting for my squad. I'm never not rooting for my team. You ain't ever going to get me out. I'm a long-suffering loyalist to a fault.
Even when there's times where people saying we should tank, to get a higher draft pick. I'm
Don't
still,
do it.
when we was going 1-15 or whatever every game, I was like, I don't care if it mess up our draft position. I want to win.
Yeah,
Period.
don't listen. I watched Jacksonville walk off that field today, and they look like Urban Meyer looked like he won the national championship. Them dudes got 2 wins. That's how important and that's how difficult winning a game in the NFL is.
Mm-hmm.
That also look, another thought I had. That lets me know how poorly that Browns team, the talent that they had on the team was just awful, and the thought process in that was awful. For you to not be able to get 1 win in the NFL,
right,
bro, that's like going 16-0. You got to have some luck, man. To go 0-16, you got to have some bad luck. You got to have everything like line up so perfectly for you to fail. And we should have won a game. That Miami game, we lost that game. I talk about that every year. It just sticks in it's like the thorn in my paw, man. I talk about that all the time. You put that goofball back out there to miss 16 field goals in a row.
That was Cody Parkey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I remember it.
So yeah, I need to lay on somebody's couch over that one. I ain't let that one go yet.
Man, I forgot all about that game. That was awful.
I ain't let that one go. I still, I'll be holding on. Look, I was mad at Ernest Biner for about 67 years. Still mad. Like every time I saw him, I would see him in public. Like, I ain't going to shake that fool's hand.
That's hilarious.
Listen, how you skip? I saw they was at a bar one time. I was downtown. I went and saw Cody Rising. He was sitting on this side. Ernest Biner was sitting here, and Kevin Mack was sitting here. I took pictures with Cody Rising and Kevin Mack.
That is super petty. That is so petty.
I was mad.
If it wasn't for Ernest Biner, we wouldn't have been in that game anyway.
Hey, I was still mad. I don't care about all. I ain't care about that. But yeah, so that, I mean, listen. Let's go ahead and give our game balls, man. Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm just giving one. I'm giving one to the whole team and coaching staff just for getting this victory. I'm not gonna give any individual accolades today. Like I said, this was a truly a team win of the highest definition of what a team win is what the Browns did today.
That's pretty dope. And I should have let you go last because that probably supersedes anything I'm about to say.
No, it's all good.
I actually have my three individual game balls. Denzel, because I think, as I said earlier, I think that interception set the tone.
It did
for the entire rest of the game. That gave us an edge. That gave us room to kind of exhale a little bit. It gave us, and it wasn't just like a random thing. That dude covered the shit out of that play on a really good, really hot receiver, a really good, really hot offense, really good, really hot quarterback. And it kind of took the steam out of those guys and it put some steam into us. And I couldn't. He also had that other pass deflection that led to another pick. He played good all game. It wasn't just those 2 plays. He played great all game. So Denzel gets one. Greg Newsome gets my other one. Greg Newsome is a dog. He's every week he just gets better and better and better. And if these guys can be healthy, Greg Newsome and Denzel, if they can be healthy, people gonna have problems, man. People gonna have problems trying to pass, get passes through these guys. And the other one, believe this or not, I think I gave him one last year. excuse me if I'm not mistaken, and that's Joe Woods. I'm not a huge fan of his defensive scheme, but today he woke the hell up and actually called a solid game plan. He kept his team in it. He kept, coming at Joe Burrow. He didn't give him a chance. And that really helped the offense. That truly helped the offense. Gave the offense many opportunities to do whatever the hell it needed to do. So those
Okay.
are my 3 game balls.
Okay. That's solid selections. All right, man. So anything else that you want to touch on?
Who does Ohio State play this week? Do we play Iowa?
Purdue.
Purdue. Hey, listen.
But it's at home. Thank God.
I was about to say, hey, I don't know if y'all remember the last time we went out to West Lafayette. It wasn't pretty. However, thank goodness we ain't got to worry about that this time. But let me say this, and we'll talk about it more in the midweek show. That's going to be a tough game. Them cats can play, and they just keep coming.
Yeah, and they knocked off Michigan State, which did us a favor.
Yeah, it did us a huge favor.
Was it Michigan? No. Did they play Michigan State?
Yeah, they beat Michigan.
Yeah, they did play Michigan. And then, 2, I'm noticing the Big Ten is just tougher. Well, some of the teams, Maryland and Rutgers are what they are, but I didn't expect Nebraska to play as tough as they did. I didn't expect Penn State to play, although they always play as tough, but I thought we were on a roll and we could blow them out. So now you're seeing teams stiffening up and giving us a little bit of a harder time. So I think Purdue will as well. Purdue actually, man, I've watched them a lot. They've been on TV a lot this year to be as raggedy as they are. But
they wasn't on TV because of them. They were on TV because they was playing the number 2 team in the nation and the number 3 team in the nation. It wasn't because of them.
Right, but they got some ball players. That receiver, David Bell,
is
good. The quarterback is scrappy.
Bell is good. Yeah. He's going to be a problem in the league. He's not a big kid, but he can catch. He can run those routes.
Right.
You always need those guys.
Yeah, O'Connell, whatever his name is, their quarterback. He's a tough guy. Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely will be a tough game. And hopefully they're not looking past them, looking to Michigan State. Go ahead and handle the business.
They better not. Otherwise, they're going to lose. And if they lose 2 games, they are not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, because we should now. So when the rankings come out Tuesday, we should be at least like number 4.
Yeah.
So they're going to push Michigan State out of there. They may have Oklahoma probably jump Cincinnati. They don't want Cincinnati up there at all. Because Oklahoma's undefeated. They'll probably try to push Oklahoma up over, up over them, man. So
you think they're gonna keep Cincinnati at 5?
They don't want Cincinnati in there at all, which I think is kind of unfair. Because here's where I think it's unfair. I don't know why they're doing that, but I was like, but if you're gonna rank them high and put them up there, let them play. Let them compete. If you're gonna don't put them up there, vote them in the AP poll high, and then say, you know what, now that the playoffs is coming along, we just gonna
not really that good.
Yeah, like, right. We ain't gonna give y'all a shot.
Yeah, if they're not that good, they should be number 2 in the nation.
Right, and all it comes down to at times is about TV ratings, and it's about how well those fans travel.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's what it comes down to. Like they know Ohio State is going to travel.
Cincinnati travels well for a mid-major.
But they don't travel like Ohio State.
They don't have millions and millions of people. They don't have legions of people like Ohio State, like Oklahoma, like Texas, like Alabama. Like those guys gonna go. If they had a game in the North Pole between Alabama and Ohio State, it would be, that stadium would be filled.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, so they're gonna go where the money is. They follow the money, and Cincinnati, I think they should be number 4 on the high side, but they should be no less than number 5.
Well, Cincinnati hasn't done itself any favors through the last 3 weeks.
They haven't.
Because they've had tough games the last 3 weeks. So any excuse that they can have, they're gonna keep them out of there. Unless the only way Cincinnati will be in that top 4 if they don't have no choice. Like these teams just start losing and they don't have a choice but to put them in there. That's the only way they're gonna get in.
They're gonna be mad as hell at the other teams, like you sons of bitches.
Right.
Because they looking at the money, man. So you know, it'll be interesting. We'll be looking for that on Tuesday, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in the midweek show.
Most definitely.
As we get closer to the big game on Saturday versus the Boilermakers. Anything else, bro?
Just shout out to the Cavs for pulling out another road victory tonight. They beat the New York Knicks going away. I know you didn't see the game, man. Ricky Rubio was out there like Isaiah Thomas. He put up 39.
Woo!
And was like 8 and 9 from the 3-point line. He had 39 points and 10 assists. He was out there balling.
He was out there.
He was balling. And Sexton got hurt early in the game. I think he hurt his knee. I don't know how bad it is, but everybody else stepped up. Mobley had 26.
I like that kid, man.
Yeah, Jared Allen was doing his thing, and Garland hit some big threes in that fourth quarter. So I know I've been hard on the Cavs. But I'm gonna give props when props is due. They're like 7-4, they won 4 in a row. So shout out going to on the road in MSG and coming out with a victory. So
better play tough, Cavs. Better go, man. Appreciate that. Appreciating that.
Other than that, I got nothing left, bro.
All right, man. We'll wrap us up, brother.
All right, so you can catch us on Facebook at 2 Guys and a Mic 216, Instagram 2 Guys and a Mic 216. YouTube, 2 Guys and a Mic 216, and then on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor, you can catch us at 2 Guys and a Mic if you want to go ahead and stream the podcast. So that's going to wrap up our show for today. Got a Browns victory. I can sleep peacefully tonight because we would have lost this game. I'd be in a bad state. So thank you, Browns, for sparing me for another week. So we will catch you guys in our midweek show. Stay tuned for that. And I will bid you good night.
All right, y'all. Peace. Love you, Sean.
All right, man. Yep.